In today's episode of the Platform Presents podcast, I'm here with an interesting guest today. I'm with Yash, Chitre, who is hailing over from the team at HubEngage. And basically, he's a senior vice president over there. And basically, what HubEngage is, it's an employee communications and engagement platform. So we really want to dive in, which type of companies benefit the most? How do, employee engagement is so key these days, specifically with a lot of people also, working remotely. So we want to, learn a little bit from Josh, how he's looking at that market, but also how he's thinking about growth for the company and a little bit about his journey in the industry. So Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lucas. Thanks for having me today.
Awesome. So, give us a 360 overview. What is HubEngage all about?
Yeah, so HubEngage is a software as a service platform for employee communications and employee engagement. And what we've done is sort of make it very easy for companies of all shapes and sizes to create compelling employee experiences based on a wide variety of features that we have available inside of our platform. So you can do things like top-down employee communications, maybe pushing out documents, content, videos, any type of media to your employees. But you can also do things like feedback surveys, learning, training, social feeds, instant messaging, rewards, recognition. So lots and lots of different features that we have inside of our platform. And we allow our customers to pick and choose what's important to them. And based on their strategy, based on whatever their important initiatives are right now, they can activate things and push content out to their employees. And we do that through, about four or five different primary channels. One is mobile apps. Everybody likes their own company branded employee communications app. We also have a web-based intranet version of it, so desktop employees can also access that same rich content that you get on the mobile experience in front of a computer. We also do digital displays as well. So there are times where employees just can't be in front of phones. They're not allowed to be. Maybe they're in manufacturing or healthcare or something like that. So we do push content to TV screens and digital displays. These can be in break rooms. They can be in any employee-facing area, lobbies of buildings, things like that. And then we also do emails as well. So the ability to do email campaigns, weekly roundup, here's what you missed, engage in content that you might have missed along the way. We also have SMS texting as well. So, you can do push notifications inside of the app, but you can also send out an SMS text for an important, alert, maybe a safety alert, something like that as well. And we work with companies across all different verticals, right? Healthcare, hospitality, retail, manufacturing, anywhere you have decentralized employees, people just may or may not be in front of computers. And these companies struggle with that sort of last mile of communication, if you will, right? Really just getting their content out and making sure that people engage in it. We focus everything on segmentation inside of our platform as well, so you can tailor content to the right people at the right place at the right time, triggering those experiences. So it doesn't have to be a one size fits all for all your communications that goes out. You can certainly do that for maybe global pieces of content that you want everybody to read. Maybe it's an executive leadership communicating, the CEO talking about mission, vision, and values, things like that. But if it's something very specific to a person, let's say a work schedule or, something that they need to do, a specific task, you can tailor and target very easily as well inside of our platform. So that's kind of in a nutshell, what our platform's all about.
Very cool. And who would you say is typically the champion within the companies? Is it the head of HR, or is it more like roots based? Like how does HubEngage find their ways his way into the company?
Yeah, it's a good question. So our stakeholders primarily come from a few different departments. Human resources, HR definitely is a big player there. Employee communications, we deal with a lot of folks that have employee engagement in their titles, right? Or employee experience, that's been a big one the past few years. We also deal with departments like corporate affairs, employee health and safety, operations. So stakeholders can really come from a variety of different areas. And typically in larger companies, it'll start at HR or internal communications. they will actually own it, right? They'll actually pay for the platform, and then they will bring in all these other sort of sub-stakeholders that have content that needs to get out: operations, health and safety, training, recruiting, etc. So anybody can really play inside of the platform and get their content out.
Very cool. Now, how do they learn about you guys? Like, what would you say is sort of a typical journey of somebody, getting to know about HubEngage? In other words, what are the client acquisition channels that you guys leverage?
Yeah, so we do a lot of content marketing, right? We like to do, we've definitely adopted an inbound process in terms of acquiring our customers and moving them down the funnel in terms of awareness, an appreciation for the product, all the way down to preference and the sale, right? And people come to our website, typically they're just Googling and they're looking for employee communication software and employee engagement tools, or they might be looking for something very specific like employee surveys or rewards and recognitions for employees, right? And through that, they might land on one of our pages that we have on our website. We do a lot of landing pages. We do a lot of search engine optimization. We do, a lot of things like that, in addition to doing things like webinars and podcasts. And, we give away a lot of information, right on our website. And we do that purposefully because, one, it helps us with, getting awareness out there about our product. It also positions us as experts in the field because we are not just a technology company. Unlike some of our competitors out there that are pure technology, service providers that have taken maybe something that's an external communication tool and turned it internally and said, hey, we can sell this to employees. Our platform was built from the ground up by employee communications experts, employee engagement folks, right? So my background is 100% employee communications, employee engagement. It's what I've done for all 25 years of my career, right? I'm not a tech person at all. We do have technology. We have best-in-class technology, and at our core, we are a software as a service. That's definitely what we're selling. But we have employee engagement experts, and we position ourselves that way. And we're with our customers throughout the entire journey as employee communication peers to show them best practices. Here's what works, here's what doesn't work. So we can really speak their language and really, really help them solve the challenges that they have in their everyday employee communications with best-in-class technology, really great features, and also taking their feedback to improve things as our software, grows over time.
Yeah, no, that's very, very cool. So, given what you described, it seems the website plays, a key role in their journey. How, what's your personal perspective there? What do you consider sort of a strength of the website versus where do you see, room for improvement? Because typically, all websites out there are, a living and breathing being.
Yeah, no, it's an evolving thing, right? And it's a moving target, and we're constantly changing things. Our internal marketing team, and we do all of our, a lot of our marketing internally. We very rarely use outside agencies, things like that. We'll only do that if there's like a specialty need that we have, like, okay, we really need a Google Ads expert, or we really need somebody to help us with, search engine optimization. Our marketing team is really diligent about constantly changing content on our website. And again, positioning ourselves as leaders because we have so much best practices that we've documented, case studies. We do something we call spotlight videos of all of our customers where they talk about what their experience was working with us. Where did they start? Where are they today? And where do they see themselves going 3 months from now, 6 months from now? And what did they solve for specifically inside of our platform? So everybody comes to us with a pain point and a challenge, right? Maybe it's employee health and safety, and that person is really just focused on that. So they'll talk about their initiatives, things like that. So we try to keep our website fresh with as much content that is relevant and trending right now, so that people can engage in that as well. And we're also we've also tried to do our part with helping companies and giving some tools away even for free. So one of the things we did last year was we gave away our app. We created just a sample survey form that any company could use for COVID-19 symptom tracking and vaccination status, right? So, simple form, that we took from OSHA and, government sources and local government state agencies in terms of, symptom tracking. We just created the workflow as a survey, and we put that out there, and we said, look, anybody can use this. It's free, 100%. You don't need to, there's no contract, there's nothing. We're not trying to sell you anything. We just think it's the right thing to do. And a lot of companies are struggling with this right now, particularly last year, throughout the pandemic, where you do have essential employees that can't work remotely, that have to come in, right? Maybe it's manufacturing, maybe it's healthcare, et cetera. So, vaccination status, symptom tracking, all that kind of stuff. So we give away a lot of things like that too, just 100% for free, because that also gives people a chance to try our product. No obligation, nothing like that. And then maybe down the road, they'll be interested in actually implementing an entire employee experience platform.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Very good. We learned a lot about, what you guys are doing, how you're thinking about growth, but also I would love to get to know you a little bit better and, jump into, some rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Sure.
What's the last book you read or the last podcast you listened to?
Oh, the last book I read was Sacred Games, which is also been turned into a TV serial in India, actually. But it's a fascinating book to read. Last podcast I listened to was the other day. We're closely aligned with SHRM, the Society of Human Resources Management. So we're actually an accredited recertification provider for them as well. So people can take our webinars and listen to our podcasts and get their credits that they need to keep their membership active. So I was listening to a podcast that they had there.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
So we're focused a lot on lowering the bar for all companies to be able to engage and have software like ours. We've worked with companies across the whole spectrum, very large enterprises with, tens of hundreds of thousands of employees on our platform, using it as the core backbone of all things communications, all the way down to small companies, with maybe only 50 people or 100 people. One of the things we're really interested in doing is serving the underserved, right, and making the software available to everybody. So we're highly focused on that. We're very competitive on how we price things, giving away freemiums, things like that. So that's definitely something that we're focused on.
Yeah, very cool. If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing that you would change for your role today?
No boundaries in technology. Wow. We're like every company out there had to react to the pandemic, right? And we do things throughout. We eat our own dog food. We have our own employee communications platform that we've implemented, and we use our own tool, of course. And then we use things like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and things like that to communicate with our people. And we are a global corporation, so we're headquartered here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. But we also have offices in Austin, Texas. We have an office in Arizona. We have an office over in Asia as well. So, connecting with our global team and really being able to, do things more face-to-face. Technology is great, but there also is, times where it's like, gee, I really wish I was, in front of, with those people, right? I can engage with those people more. I can lead them better. I can also, attract and recruit talent better, things like that. So, I think as we round out the pandemic, hopefully we're entering the endemic now, and we can get back to doing some of those things and traveling more, and being in a healthier, safer environment. Hopefully, some of those things will improve.
Very cool. And for the very last question, I would love to do a little bit of time travel, right? I would love to go back to the days of Boston University, right? And now you're heading off into the world of, you've been in very interesting roles when it comes to, analytics and insights, of course. And you mentioned, you've been always really focused on employee engagement. So I'm curious, right? For your career in employee engagement, like what would be sort of one advice that you would give yourself, thinking back to the days just of, just leaving university and getting off into that journey?
Yeah, that's interesting. So, careers are always a journey, right? And it's never what you intended it to be, right? You never ever were in college and just said, okay, when I graduate, I'm going to do this and I'm going to end up there, unless you do something very, very specific, like become a doctor, or or say, oh, I know exactly this type of law I want to practice, or something like that. If you do that, at the time when I finished my university, and this was in the mid to late 90s. The internet boom was happening, right? And all of a sudden, it was just like the sky had opened up, and there were so many possibilities of what you could do, and all these new exciting roles were being created, right? These new sort of jobs and different career paths that typically didn't exist in the past were being done. And this is, I think when the dot-com boom was happening, and companies were getting, funded. And I mean, I remember, recruiters were giving away cars for people to literally join the companies, right? Because they had raised so much money, they had a lot of cash to burn, and they wanted to get talent. They wanted to recruit the right people, right? So it was an exciting time to get in there, but it was also a very uncertain time, because we didn't know how far was this going to go, how fast was this going to go. And then, of course, the bubble bursted, right? The dot-com bubble certainly bursted, 2000, 2001, and, everything kind of took a hit there, right? So, if I were to give myself some advice back then, and I didn't know, a lot about employee communications or things like that. I certainly didn't even think about HR or anything like that, but I knew I wanted to do something in strategic communications, right? And you tend to think externally. I would give the advice, and I do this for even the interns that we have in university right now that work in our company, that do summer internships, things like that. Think about internal communications, think about employees, because I firmly believe today that your people are your brand, right? And if you can sell in, then you can sell out better. And you can connect the dots between internal communications and your external communications. So don't just jump to external communications, and even executives and leaders do that, and they don't spend enough time on their own people. Start inside, start internally, and then work your way out, and then external pieces all start to fall into place as well. So I would definitely tell myself, look, don't overlook that. And maybe I could have gotten to where I got to a little bit faster, but it's all part of a natural journey. So I don't have any regrets in that regard either.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very cool. Really appreciate you took the time with us today, and gave us an insight into the world of HubEngage, Josh. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about HubEngage today, what's the one thing that they should remember?
Employee engagement. It's all about getting your employees engaged, mission, vision, and values, understanding your brand so that they can be brand ambassadors for your company, and that'll recruit better talent. You'll have better results. It'll impact your financial, your bottom line at the end of the day. If you can do it really well internally, the external stuff will come. So it's all about employee engagement.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Platform Presents.
Thanks, Lucas. Thanks for having me.